Coming to us from Texas, all the way from Texas. The last comic breathing. Dat Phan is the last comic standing. This is the last comic breathing. Abby November.
Hi, how are you doing? How's it hanging? I don't give a shit. You're supposed to be nice to the audience. Anyway, yeah, you keep your hands up. I don't want you playing with Mr. Happy here. What's your name? What? Pfeiffer? Stipend? I left my hearing aids over there. Okay. Well, I'm wearing this. It's not a fashion accessory. I inhaled in the 60s. I don't lie about it like one of our presidents. Actually, I started in the 50s. I know there's two children there. Don't do drugs, ladies and gentlemen. Don't do drugs unless it's Metamucil. I'm warning you. And if you laugh at that joke, you're older than you look, you little shits. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying here. And there's crisis in the world. There's mayhem and murder. There's ISIS. There's Ebola. There's the Kardashians. Every day. Now she's a blonde. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. My crisis. What's your name, young lady? Umlaut. Your name is Umlaut and Pfeiffer. There's an advantage to being deaf. But anyway, my crisis is aging. Look at that guy that crashed his plane. What was his name? Harrison Ford. He's 72 blankety blank years old. I was one of his hotties once, believe it or not. But he's got an aging crisis now. He was flying his plane because he is testing the plane because he's using it in his newest movie called Indiana Jones and the Search for the Enlarged Prostate. Now those guys that laugh, they're over a certain age. They know what it's like. Yeah, when you talk about, nobody brought it up, but ED, erectile dysfunction, Tad knows about that. That's why he wears tight pants to show off that package, right? Right now you've got Mr. Happy covered, but that's okay. Anyway, with this disease that I have, it's called pulmonary hypertension. One of the drugs they use, no joke, is sildenafil, because I'm not a doctor, but I'm a doctor, PhD, piled higher and deeper. Anyway, it's the truth. Sildenafil, sir, is another word for Viagra. So I took this pill, and I went to my doctor, and he said, well, Abby, I don't think the pill is helping you, and, you know, I think you have a hormone problem now. I said, well, Doc, that would explain the jockage. You should see my balls. But anyway, I said that I'm not really dirty, and if I cursed, it would be in Yiddish, but there's not enough of, you know, those people here. Except for Simon. Anyway, I am over 45, a few years over that, and we recently downsized everything in Texas, except my butt. But we moved to a condo, and let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you can tell the difference between people my age and youngsters like the ones holding hands, because the garbage tells it all. How many have a recycle bin in a condo or an apartment building? How many don't recycle at all, that you don't give a shit about the environment? Anyway, so I'm recycling, and the youngsters next to me, anybody under 50 is a youngster, they have empty beer bottles. Coors Light, Michelob, China Bach in Texas, and I put out my empty prune juice bottle. Then they throw out their Hustler magazine, their zigzag papers. You shouldn't know what that is. And you're too young because you'll wind up like this. And I'm throwing out my AARP. And it's not for retarded people, it's for retired people. My magazine and my social security statements. And the last thing they throw out, I find empty Trojan, hold your ears, Trojan boxes. And I have empty Depends boxes, but it's only funny if you don't need it, right? I feel the warmth in the room. Don't worry, I'm wearing one tonight. But it's really, I'm a boomer, you know, a post-boomer, or I'm wearing a thong, sir. Keep your hands where that can see them. But I'm wearing a thong-shaped Depends because that's what they had for women my age now. A thong-shaped, yeah, it's very sexy. You want to see it? I'll show it to you later. It's very hot. I'm really hot. I was really hot when I was young. My grandson's looking at my wedding picture, and Dad, I was hot. You should have seen me. And then I melted. But he looks at this picture and he said, "Oh, Grandma, you are so beautiful." And then you know, in that 9-year-old mind, the brains are working, and he looks at me and says, "What happened?" So my granddaughter, who's going to be an attorney general, said, "She's still beautiful. She just has a lot more skin." And then she grabs me and says, "But what's that?" And I said, "It's a flotation device." "Will I get one when I'm old like you?" I said, "Only if you inhale." Smartphone users. How many people use a smartphone? A smartphone. You use a smartphone. I try to use a smartphone. But I went to T-Mobile because I have a big fight with this technology. We live in a high-tech, low-touch, except for you two. And you better stop. A low-touch society. So I'm in T-Mobile, and he says, "Give me your phone number." So I rattle off my Texas number. And then he says, "Let's see. So you're Abby November. You were born in Brooklyn, New York. You went to Woodstock. You were Raleigh. And you're wearing a thong-shaped Depends." And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that's a little too much information for your TV, for your cellular, mobile, whatever they're called, to know about. It's real. And Siri, how many talk to Siri, that bitch? Oh my God, do you know when she had the nerve? I said to her, "Siri, do these pants make my tush look big?" She says, "No, Abby, your ass makes your tush look big." I said, "Siri, you're a bitch. That's not appropriate." I said, "You're still a bitch." She says, "And you still have a fat ass." Before I leave you, I just want to ask if there are any grandparents in the room, or did you ever have a grandmother or grandfather?
Yeah.
You weren't hatched. My daughter was in labor for 72 blankety blank hours in Colorado. They're very into natural. She kept refusing the drugs, refusing them hand holders. Yes, refusing them. She was in pain, so I took them. There's nothing like an epidural to ease your anxiety. I took one tonight. Then I went bra shopping with my granddaughter, because time has passed, right? And I decided I'll go bra shopping too. I take off, let the girls be unfurled, and the little one who's got perky you-know-what is looking at me and looking all the way down, and she says, "Oh, they're so long." I said, "Well, when you get older," you know, explaining physiology of geriatrics, and she says, "You're scaring me, you're scaring me." And my grandson is in the pool with me, and that was a treat to see this old broad in a bathing suit. And then out of his mouth he said, "What on earth are all those blue lines?" And I said, "That's the map of San Diego. Right here's the zoo, and down here is Tijuana."